Well, welcome to this evening's bit of work going on tonight. Uh, in a second here, I'm going to make a little statement. I guess I got under the skin, old bad Chad. He made a video about not finishing anything. Well, he does finish stuff. I don't know how long it took him to make those cars. But he asked, do you know anybody else who could do it? Yeah, me. I've been doing it all my life. The only difference is I start with nothing. Zero. No plans. Nothing. I built an airplane. I was an aviation structure mechanic in 1974. Worked for Harley Davidson for a gazillion years. Now I'm fabricating again for somebody else. But yeah, do I know anybody can do it? Yeah, I do. But you did a good job. You got a bunch of cars. I like airplanes. You like cars. That's great. Used to like motorcycles. I had a whole garage full of motorcycles, but I'm out of that. I grew out of that. So we're going to get to the final sand out. 600. Hopefully, I can get this sanded out where I can paint this airplane with 2 ounces of paint. I hope. Not 2 gallons. Big difference. Alan, happy little circles, you bet. Most of the guys who have watched my channel for any amount of time know me and what I'm capable of. This airplane took 4 months, a little over an hour a day, starting with nothing. So we'll give it a quick sand out. I need to make a gun sight for it, and I might do that tonight. My last gun sight was made out of a spray top can. You know, the nozzle out of a spray top, and a piece of plastic, clear plastic. That's probably what I'll do again. So if anybody from Bad Chad's channel watching, I apologize. You do finish stuff, but don't think you're the only guy that can do it. I guess he had a TV show at one time. I will never have a TV show because ain't nobody interested in this stuff. This is dead. Just like the rest of us will be here shortly. And if you're wondering why I'm not sanding vigorously over the whole thing, this is paper for people who don't know this particular hobby. I mean, a lot of guys do, but there are some people who may or may not be watching that don't understand what this is. This is paper that's on here, soap fan. So you can't you can't just grind away and expect to have anything. But I got to get it slick. Now this one here is semi-built from plans, but my original ones that I did in 2004, there were no plans. But I wanted to make this one, I wanted to see how close I was to the measurements that I took. They're pretty spot on, really. So we don't need to grind this all the way through the paper or whatever. Let's see what it looks like. I'm just trying to get all the shinies out of it. Because we're going to get one coat of silver gray on it Saturday. Oh yeah, that worked real good. If you look at it, remember this is not paint. This is not primer, not paint. It's kind of a clear gray. Let's see. It's starting to shine. It's starting to polish up. So, because this is lacquer, and like lacquer is nitro cellulose, 35 millimeter film melted with acetone, you could buff this to a shine. It would shine just fine. People have always asked me, well, you have to put clear on an airplane. No, you don't. The only reason why I get the clear on there is to protect the ink lines and to bring some depth in it. And this is going to get a full array of ink. I have watched him. There's another guy who is more like a modeler than a a fabricator that takes cars out of the junkyard and makes them into a car. It's the guy who takes it. He makes a plywood buck, just like I would do for modeling. Makes a buck, and then he air hammers and English wheels all the aluminum to shape. That's my speed right there. That's what I consider true fab. I got a kick out of Jesse James one time saying, "I'm the only guy that knows how to use an English wheel." Are you kidding me? There's a kid that I follow, Macro Machines. Check that guy out. He's a kid. I guess his dad's a machinist. He's building himself a speedster. He started with nothing. But Chad is making cars. I saw about 10 in his garage. So you do finish things. I apologize for saying you don't finish anything. I don't know that he watches this or not. I'm not even sure that I'm the guy the guy that got under his skin, but I think so. It doesn't matter. Him and I would be friends. Yeah, Ramy's pretty good. He he's along the lines of what I do, you know, take nothing and make an airplane. Yeah. What size tube is it? Well, you got to find carbon tube that has a 045 ID. Because, let me see here. No, you want to find a tube that has 35 thousandths ID. Let me find this wire here. So I got a couple of different carbon tubes here. These are the carbon tubes. This is K&S. It's 32 thousandths. So you need to find a tube that's 32 thousandths ID. This is a carbon tube here, and the wire is right here. It's 32 thousandths, and it'll slip right in there. But it's 16th inch OD. You know, the guy who does super chop tops, TIG welds them on. Super nice. I'm finishing fabbing up 3 dump trucks right now. Okay, we got one wing sanded. Let's go to this side here. No problem. That's my job. Make it easy. You'll like those hinges. They are super free. Just make sure that the control horn is in a hinge. Flap horn, and so it takes to do an airplane, you got 1, 2, 3, and inside the fuselage 4, 5. The horn is suspended with those hinges. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 hinges. Let me check that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, it takes 14 hinges for an airplane. But they weigh less than the nylon hinge. They're a lot easier to adjust than the Robart. They're glued wood to wood. I mean, that was a slick idea. And the gapless hinge, because you got it set into the trailing edge. Well, it looks like I'm not going to get all those out there. We'll get a coat of paint on it and see if I need to sand it again. Because the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to paint it and glue the canopy on after I paint it again. So I'm going to have to paint it again just because, yeah, $20 should give you a lifetime supply. I buy $30 worth, but whatever. I'm going to paint it and then glue the canopy on. It's really hard to explain why I'm doing it this way. Normally I would mold the canopy in, but this one here, the canopy is more like a real airplane. It's not molded in, it's set on. The frame slides. So we'll mold in the front, but the back half will look like it slides. So I'm real happy with how this front came out. This is well, this is all fiberglass here, so in good shape. Turn this around, but we're getting close. I'm getting close. When you feel this thing, it feels like plastic. That's the way you want it. Oh, got a spot right here. Happy little circles. The Bob Ross is standing. I know he's got to be watching me because he thought he's the Bob Ross is standing, and you guys came up with it for me. How long ago? Year? Gary Sinclair even made me a shirt design. I need to get some of those things done and up. I just hope this paint lays down really nice. Yeah, when I watched Chad's latest video, he's got almost as many cars as I got airplanes. Almost, not quite, but. You guys remember? It's been several years ago. I think I was building. I might have been. What was I building back then? Oh, I was building crossfires, and I showed the my average kit. The average kit was a stack of wood. Oh well. I apologize. You do finish stuff. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he does. He's a metal man. When I do stuff, I do all the body work, the paint work, the wiring, the mechanical work, the engineering of the building the engine, all that shit. But I built hundreds of motorcycles, hundreds of them. Complete motorcycle take me about 100 hours. Yeah, that's right. Oh, a guy came by. I didn't show this stuff yet. It's out in the car. Let me see if I can find it. This is going to be for Dan. I know Dan's sitting in his easy chair watching. Get out of that easy chair and into the garage and start sanding. This guy is about 70 years old. He came into the shop, and I cut some carbon fiber plate for him on the shear, and he builds motorcycle parts. And he's got carbon fiber kickstands, which would be real easy to make, just like I did the propellers, and chain guards, and the same shit Wendy's doing. But I got to tell you, the carbon plate that I cut that I'm going to use for the spar, for a spar, it's 4K carbon fiber mat. It's 2 inches wide, 48 inches long, 15 thousandths thick. Beautiful finish stuff. High dollar. I cut that sheet that he had. It was 48 by 6 foot down in an autoclave. And I said, "Hey, what are you gonna do with the scraps?" He said, "Well, you can have them." Well, shit, I got a use for those. So we're gonna do a layup of a carbon spar. Unlike I got other carbon back here, but it's unidirectional. This stuff here is high dollar. So the spar will be worth about $300. It's nice. But he came in today looking for me, and he said, "Hey, is Sparky back there?" Yeah. So I was welding on a dump body, and he said, "Hey, I got this card for you." Okay, great. So see if we can get something going with him, Dan. Oh, he watched the YouTube videos, and he said that he watched you play up that prop. He really enjoyed that. I guess he didn't know how to do that. So we're getting out there anyway. Let's see here. On a little bit better. There we go. $600 paper. I probably could go down to 1,000, but I'm not sure that it would make. What is the something? I don't know. At least I'll be able to get started on that half-A Cobra that I'm going to give away. Like I say, normally I don't work with plans, but I'm going to build that Cobra. Piece of foam rubber. You can buy these in any auto body shop. They come in 4 inches wide, 6 inches long. I just cut a piece out of it. Just semi-hard foam. At this stage, I don't want to be using no hard block. I think right now, if I poked a hole in the wing and I had to repair it, I'd be crying. We're so close to getting her sealed up. No problem, Phil. So this is not really it's a detail sanding. It's not really a thorough sanding, even though I will, after we get off of here, I will continue to sand until I got every spot on it. Because you're not taking much off of this, you're just leveling out what you got left on there. And remember, if you're going to build light and finish light, you can't have any material on the airplane. So anything you sand off is going to lighten it up. Of course, you couldn't measure it. I hear all the time guys say, well, I put 2 ounces on, I'll sand 1 ounce off. No, you won't. You ain't going to sand shit off. Well, it ends up on the floor. Yeah, but it soaks into the wood. And because dope is a chemical bond and never dries, whether you knew that or not, it's continually shrinking down, down into the wood. That's why a lot of guys want to use the nitrate, which is not necessary. Nitrate is for attaching, in my opinion, is for attaching the rayon to a metal airframe on a real aircraft. I only use butyrate, and I stay with one. It used to be Aerogloss, but we can't get that no more, so we're going with Randolph. Now, I was asked in another post on the Junar that's hanging on the wall, what dope did I use? Well, I only use Randolph because the pigments are twice as much as Brodak. Even though Brodak is made by Randolph, they're doing something to it. Anyway, that's why it stinks. It smells really strange. So the pigments are higher in the Brodak than on that particular airplane. That my Junar, I used DC 540. So I told, and I do have one full last can left. This is my last can. Do you the difference between dope and lacquer paint? Yes, there's a big difference. This is my last can of DC 540. This is the good stuff, the stuff that'll contains ketones, toluene, xylene, and extremely dangerous and harmful and all that good stuff. Don't eat the paint. My last full can. So hope I'm not going to use any on this. But now we'll go back to what's the difference between dope and lacquer. I would say it. No, I custom blend my own stuff. The difference in dope and lacquer is the plasticizers. Now, if you're willing to put plasticizer in lacquer and can keep it from checking. Now, this is a Randolph catalog. Remember, this is real airplane paint. These are the colors. You got silver, which I'll be using Saturday. This is polar gray. I don't really like their gray, so I mix my own. I just take white. I always use Insignia white because it's the whitest of the white. The Randolph white is kind of an eggshell, and the Juno white is kind of a cream white. But I always buy Insignia white because it's the purest white. And if I want to make another color, such as gray, I take the jet black and mix it with that, and then I'm going to take the silver to make it a silver gray. Now they got metallic green. I don't suggest you use any of the metallic colors they got because they model. Modeling is a thing, unless you drop shoot, that makes the paint look really odd. It's really strange. And so it's got to be perfect conditions, and you better know what you're doing if you're going to shoot metallics, and unless you're going to drop shoot. Anyway, with the primary colors on here, I can make any color I want. Like, I'm going to need a green to match that. Well, I don't have any greens. Now, everybody thinks that yellow and blue make green. It doesn't. It makes brown. Do a search on the internet for a color wheel and primary colors, because it takes 3 colors to make green. It takes blue, yellow, and what other color would you think? Red. Slight red. Red's in the family. So, but you can find all that stuff online. This has and a good eye and a painter can just spot well, that has a little blue in there, or that has a little yellow in there, or that may have some orange in it. And there's another color. You can't make orange. Not really. I've tried. It makes brown. Let me see here. Let me look up here and see if I can pull up this primary. I'll show you this. I'll show you this thing. Now the way we were taught in school, the 2 colors that make green are blue and yellow. Blue makes the majority of the color, but mixed with yellow, it makes a brighter shade. In order to mix these colors, blah, blah, blah. But if you look at the upgraded color charts, come on now. Let's see if I can pull this up here. No, we don't want to. I don't do Facebook. I wish they get their act together. What 3 colors make green? There we go. 3 primary colors: red, blue, and yellow, but only need blue and yellow to create green. So they say secondary colors are the colors obtained through the mixture of 2 primary colors. Green is a secondary color. You can search this all online. 4 ways to make green. Let's see here. Green is a mixture of blue, and once you understand the basic color theory involved, you can make green use a variety of mediums. Paint, frosting. It's going to take you some red, though, to make green. To make the color green that I need. Now, if I want to make zinc chromate or something along that line, I could mix that up blue and yellow, but that won't be the green that I need. Anyhow, you can pull that all up online. And you want to look at the color wheel and contrasting colors. If you're going to paint an airplane purple, well, what color would you trim it with? Well, you wouldn't. You might trim it in white, or you might trim it in yellow. You want to use opposite colors of the wheel. Anyway, these are 50. There's 50 different colors. Obviously, there's not 50 here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. No, there's not 50 there. But if you look on the back, they got the olive drab, which is R4869. I know if I called, what is a good shade of orange used on your Junar? Well, that was let's see, what color did I use? I think it was Aranca 7AC orange. Aeronca, Aeronca. Yeah, Aeronca orange. Cessna Tiger orange ain't bad. It's a little bright, and orange is a good covering color. You can put orange on, and as long as you have a good surface like this, if I wanted to paint this airplane orange, I could do it in an ounce probably. It just doesn't take much paint at all. It just covers great because orange is in the black shade of things. The dark blues and the oranges and reds. Red is a little tricky. The reason why most airplanes are white is, and that's the heaviest color, is because it's easiest to see and it shows less mistakes. If you want to see how good a painter you are or how good a sander you are, you want to paint the lightest color, which is black. But buddy, your woodwork better be perfect. Okay, let's see where we're at here. This is coming out nice. Okay. Someday I'll learn how to do this. I gotta go spend a month with Jim Lynch to learn how to do it. Or Charlie. I find it really hard to believe that as good a craftsman as Jim Lynch is that he learned something from it. I guess he must have forgot. That Jim Lynch, the guy that I talk about on here, and who is sometimes on, and he may be watching right now. He's one of the judges, or was one of the appearance judges. So you talk about a super craftsman. Him and Charlie are the ones who redid Bob Giskey's Nobler. I think they did an art. I can't remember who did the Argus too. Somebody did the Argus. They restored them back to original looks. And if the AMA has not entrusted me with anything, so he's got to be better than I am. You know, that stuff sitting in the museum. Well, hell. I'll turn it around this way and sand that turtle deck on the other side. Did you guys see the electric Machicastoli that I built? It's on my channel somewhere. I don't know where it's at, but with the straight wing and the golden radiators and all that business. That was kind of cool. I might do something like that again, where I just took a picture off the internet. I kind of lost interest in that one too because the weight wasn't coming out where I wanted it. And probably not so much as the weight is that was the end of my electric power. You know, I was the type of guy in the Harley Davidson industry that bucked primary belts and secondary belts for years. Nah, it's got to be a chain. But once you have a belt drive bike, and you don't have to worry about oiling the chain, and service life on the belt is 50 to 60,000 miles, if you're going to ride any distance. Unfortunately, belt is the only way to go. I bucked mag wheels for a lot of years too. No, it's got to be spokes. You know, traditionalist. No, mag wheels are a whole lot better because you get a flat, you can plug it on the road. You don't have to worry about ripping the tire off and changing the tube. Of course, I bucked the system when the spring. You know, I had a Springer. I gotta have a Springer. That's like riding a buckboard. And then the glides came out. So I'm a traditionalist. I tried electric. I mean, I've tried all. And once they can figure out the battery setup, and they will eventually, where these things, the batteries don't weigh as much as a cinder block, and you don't run out of power at the end of the flight. We might go back. We might try batteries again. Oh, I know what it was. I was watching a YouTube video on axial flux motors. Now that's not the same as the three-phase motors that we're running. These have the can still turns, but the windings are in the center, and the magnets are in a sandwich. That's what it is. So let's see, how does that work? The magnets are stationary, and the windings turn in between two magnets, and you can stack up as many magnets as you want. So, but that's instead of the flux running from north to south around this way, it's running around this way, around axial flow. Just look axial flow motors, axial flux motors on YouTube, and I think they may have the power because they're going to start to use those in cars. I'm surprised Garlett's, and who knows, he may have already tried. You know, he's trying to get to that 200 mile an hour mark in an electric vehicle. I can remember years ago listening to, I mean, this is a lot of years ago, Irwindale Speedway was 20 miles away. And this was when the Windjammer, they didn't have any rear engine rails then, they were all slingshots. And the cars weren't even up to 6 seconds, and they were, you know, 180, 190. What thinner do I use with dope? I use Randolph thinner, $50 a gallon. But you only use that for the thinner on the dope. Those cars weren't even up to 6 seconds yet. I go, wow, they ever going to hit 200 miles an hour? Are they ever going to make 6 seconds? And then Garlic broke the, you know, broke the barrier. And then after his clutch blew up, and he blew his foot off, and he made that rear engine thing, and nobody thought it would work. I guess it had some handling problems. The torque roll of the motor wanted to turn the car a left turn. They got considerably faster, and now what are they, in the 390s? I think the pro stocks are faster than the top fuel was when I was a kid. Did I ever go to Raisin City? Raisin City. No, I didn't. I don't know where that is. Boy, we're getting all them little buggers out of there. I mean, I bet if I spent a week doing this, it would be considerably better, but I'm not going to wait a week to shoot it. I'm going to shoot it this weekend. I got to get some paint on it. South of Fresno. Nope. Been to Orange County, Fontana, Irwindale, Pomona, and I lived out there in California for most of my younger life. Flew at Whittier Narrows. Back in the Tom Warden days. Last time I talked to Tom Warden was about 1991. And Bill Noyes wrote me an email. I get to see Gordon Delaney about once every 10 or 15 years. Of course, Whiteley's not around anymore. Haven't seen Norm Whittle in about 20 years. But I get to see most of you guys at least once a year, either at Brodax or the Nats. Unless you live in Australia, then I'm not going to get to see you ever unless you come here. Boy, oh boy. Yeah, I need to quit sanding there. Gotta leave some paint on it. About this time, old Jim is learning what it's like to paint without paint. Jim Lynch has switched over to my painting system of the tinted clear, so you get the experience that joy of painting without paint. Let's see what this says here. Hey Phil, can you use such? Hey Phil, strip clean lacquer thinner, but make sure it's high solvency kind. It will. Do not use it. I don't know why you get that information is not good. If you use Randolph dope, use Randolph thinner. That way there's not going to be a problem. I used to go through that business of 3608S thinners because it was a little cheaper. But if you'll notice, it will either solvent pop or it will trap moisture very close to blushing under the skin. It makes the paint skin over too fast. Those chemists at Randolph have got it figured out that the dry time of that thinner used at ambient temperature of 70 degrees, that the skin will dry from the bottom up instead of from the top down, so that it doesn't solvent pop. The other virgin thinners that you're talking about, strip clean thinner, is good for cleaning the gun. But as far as mixing paint, stay with Randolph. It's pricey. You know, a gallon of dope is, I guess it was $58 or $68 a gallon. But you got to remember, you're only going to use 1 quart per airplane, so we're down to $15 a quart. And the gallon of thinner that you're going to use is only going to be used to mix in the dope. So if you got a gallon of thinner, that means you get 4 gallons or 4 quarts of paint out of it. I want to try the way you paint, but on my free flight planes, being not much weight. Free flight planes need to be covered with Japanese tissue. Japanese tissue is a little tricky to work with. The fuselage and all this is covered with Jap tissue. These wings are covered with triple or double-aught silk span, lightweight silk span, because I'm not good enough to get Japanese tissue on, to be honest with you. Now, if Jerry Phelps was still alive, I'd have him show me how to get Japanese tissue on to get very delicate stuff. But it has a waxed side on it, and that waxed side keeps the dope on top. So the way that I paint with, I don't know, I've never done a free flight plane, so I don't know how many square inches it is or whatever, but I would suggest that you don't use a quart of dope on it, because is it rubber powered? Is it gasoline powered? And if it's rubber powered, you can get away with nothing. Hey, sand it all day, ready for white paint. The system works. You bet. It should be white right now. Your airplane should be white, and it shouldn't take much more than that much in the bottom of your quart container of white paint. So you're gonna take, I use mason jars. Take a quart mason jar, pour in 1.5 to 2 inches, and then double it. So now you got that much in the bottom of your mason jar, which is that big around. I don't know what that is. It's probably a pint. You're going to spray 1 coat. That's all it's going to take, is 1 coat to make it completely white. If you use the base up white system, just 1 coat on the airplane. And if it's not enough, add more thinner to what you got. Don't use more paint, use more thinner. And that way you get a super light paint job. And as you know, Jim, sanding is where it's at. There's Jim that I'm talking about, that's probably twice the craftsman that I am. Him and Charlie. Of course, I think Jim's twice the age I am too. What do you? Not really. We're all old. Sand it all day. Yeah. I got another hour in on mine. Well, I'll probably sand tomorrow. Come Saturday, we're going to get some paint on this. And then I'll probably sand it again. And then I got to mount the canopy. And I'll shoot in this area right here and then put the green on top, because this airplane was an Army Air Corps airplane. I'm definitely not going to paint my airplane olive drab. That's that. Now, Jim's got a Thunderbolt that's painted olive drab that's really nice, but it's built the Al Rabe way, so it's a big, fat mama. But I was going to do it, use the silver, and this is green on the top, which most of them were. And I'm going to continue this green back this way. This up here will be yellow with checkerboards on it, and then I gotta have a scallop in it, pushing 80. Yeah, gotta have a scallop in it, so the scallop will go back and then jogging in back. There'll be a blue stripe right there. The rudder will be white with red stripes. Of course, I'll have the rondelles on it. All the markings. I'm probably going to do those ladies I showed as my nose art up here. And I don't know. I'm not sure. It's going to be several months of detail. All these airplanes are green. Because it was an Army air. This is not a bad one. This camo one, but I don't want anything too dark. I want something flashy. More than anything, though, this was you don't see many of these Thunderbolts. First off, because of the canopy, you got to pull one. And this one here, we're making our own prop and our own fuel tanks. So as far as making props, I'd be more than happy to show you guys how I'm doing it. I've not taken responsibility for any accidents, so if you do it, it's at your own risk, because props are dangerous. Just like I don't mention how I used to double boil dope anymore either. Everybody's sue crazy, don't want to get sued. Yeah, we're coming up on our hour now. I got a couple of minutes left. Is there any questions that you guys might have for me? I'll finish the bottom side off camera after dinner, and maybe sand on a little more tomorrow after work. But this is basically ready to go to paint. And there's no paint on this yet. This is all tinted clear. Let's see, maybe you can see through the wing if I point this up this way. I don't know if the light's bright enough or not. Not really. No, you can't see through it. But in the sunlight, you can see right through the wing. I need to sand out. John put a sticker on it, huh? No, John didn't put a sticker on it. I don't know how it got on there, but John ain't here. I must have brushed up against something. Oh well, we ain't gonna worry about it till after the show. I think I'm gonna bring back the Thunderbolt shirt though this year that I did several years ago. Anyway, thanks for watching. I apologize to Chad. You do finish things. I seen a garage full of stuff. Not my speed, but you do finish stuff. So happy sanding. Hey mate, use some finer grit if you want to nicer paint job, less paint. All right, fair winds, tight lines. See ya. Oh, by the way, we'll be starting that half-8 Cobra that I'm going to give away. Thank you, Kevin. Fair winds, tight lines. See ya.